weeks.
Okay. Yep. Sounds good. All right. Yep. All right. See ya.
Good morning. Welcome to the Ordinance and Policy Committee meeting for September 13th, 2003. Present today are City Attorney Paul Jensen, along with Councilman Schramm and Councilman Klunt, and myself. City Attorney Mr. Jensen will be working on hopefully 3 ordinances, a couple resolution, and an addendum with council. It's a busy schedule. Ordinance 1061 is on hay bales. Ordinance 1062 is on quorum for planning commission. Ordinance 1063 is for haul roads. Resolution 2023-17 is on billing rates. Resolution 2023-18 on special garbage rates and a garbage collection addendum. Busy schedule. Mr. Jensen, you come back with a bang.
Trying.
Yeah.
All right. The first one may take us more time than the rest, only because I understand there's been a lot of discussion on this one, but I need some direction from the 2 members of council as far as which direction we go. In my discussion with the finance officer, I think we have some divergence of opinion here, or at least that's the way it was reported to me. So I thought it would be helpful to come and just ask the 2 of you to share with me what your ideas are, what your concerns are, and how you want this to read, and see if we can reach consensus. If we can't, there's 2 ways we can do it. Number 1 is we can take no action until we reach consensus between us. Or the other would be is I could prepare, frankly, a couple of alternatives and present them to council. I don't like doing that, but we can. So, gentlemen, help me out if you would.
Where is your question?
I don't have a particular question. My concern is, I want to know what were the concerns that were brought up with this when it was presented to you folks last meeting when I wasn't here.
The last one that we had didn't talk about how you had it for industrial.
It didn't.
No. It
Oh.
didn't define the 2 single rows, the 10 feet in between.
The one before this didn't.
Oh.
We didn't see that one.
See, I thought this was.
Or we didn't see this one. This
You
is
did
the
not
first
see
I've
This
ever
is
seen
the first time I've
this.
seen what I presented typed up,
Okay. Okay.
right?
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
the first time I've ever seen it typed like this.
Is it?
Yep.
Because it was all just, I had it in handwriting and she said she would get you the video or whatever. So you must have done something,
I'll refresh your memory.
okay?
This was actually in front of council one time before, on my last day here in front of council. This draft was in front of council.
Not with the twin single
No.
rows.
That wasn't what was handed.
Everything in
Mr.
yellow
Jensen.
is new from that.
Maybe they
Yellow is
just
new.
maybe they
Yeah.
just accidentally handed us the wrong one, but we haven't seen this.
Right, this is the first time that because last week I came, or the last meeting we had, I had my modifications written in red on the top, and you think I can find them? No. But I was hoping that the video, you would get that from that, and Chandra took really good notes. I'm wondering about the blue comment, is October 1, and is there a reason for
That
making
was my read-in.
Okay,
That was my
I don't-
add-in. I didn't know if that needed.
I think
to
the
be there.
other thing defines it better to actually for people to utilize. I mean, heck, sometimes on October 1st, you might still go cutting.
might cut again. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know that we need that in there. I
No.
agree with
I like the 8 months or once a year, and then that makes you clean whatever property off once a year. It's
Okay,
gotta
now
be
I've got
clean.
8 months in paragraph B there.
in what we rent out, yeah.
Yeah, so if we
We're
were
in
to
B.
take it paragraph A and just scratch the part and must be moved off the property and out by October 1,
I think
scratch
so.
that,
I think so.
I think so.
okay?
And must be moved off, yep, by October 1.
Okay,
there we're letting them stack it. Right?
Twin single rows and at least 10
No,
foot between.
in the first paragraph A,
Oh, okay,
where we are renting the land to people to produce hay, they
Yep.
can stack it there.
yep.
Okay, and they have to get it off so long
Oh.
as,
Correct me if I'm wrong.
I think we did that because of our lease.
because we're
October
leasing.
1.
When do our leases start?
I think
I
what
have to go back and review, I think they're supposed to get off by October 1, aren't they?
they are.
So that we have to leave. I thought we were talking as a whole.
Right.
No, that's just in item A, is the
We're-
October one.
I think we
But
had to
that's
have.
what's in our lease contract.
Very good, then we should leave that in there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
we should
Yeah.
leave that in there. Okay.
Yep, okay, leave that in.
I didn't realize that was part of the lease, so that's good to know.
Yeah.
Because they can stack it on our leased land, but not anywhere else.
Correct.
Okay. Everywhere else has to be a single row, not stacked.
And they have a definitive date of October 1st to clear out their stacks.
Right.
Yeah. And that's good protection for the city too as well. You don't,
Yep.
not near as likely to have ruts and stuff
Yep.
getting it out.
Yep.
This might even pass. Okay. If we take that one line out, then I think this is ready for the,
Paragraph B, let's just tear it apart and make
Yep.
sure anybody have a problem on any part of paragraph B.
do we need to specify they may be an unstacked single rows? Because it
Where-
doesn't prevent them from being stacked.
That was explained to me by whoever it was that suggested I write it that way,
Okay,
that from the standpoint of if something catches fire, you got a lot better chance of segregating that fire and keeping it down to a small area if you don't have stacks to remove. If you just have rows.
I'm agreeing,
You-
but
you-
we don't say in here that you can't stack them.
It says in there by saying
Twin
twin
single rows.
singles.
And at least 10
Twin
feet
single
between
means
each row.
2 by 1.
Okay, as long as that's what that means and everybody understands it that
That's
way.
what I think it means. I mean,
Okay,
Now, I mean, if it'll, because I see where you're at.
single being the non-stacked.
yeah.
Okay.
Twin is side by side. You can put
Yep.
2 touching each other
Yep,
Yep.
and 1 high, and then you have to have 10 feet.
10 feet
Yep.
between
And you
the,
can go
between the
2,
rows, yep,
1
okay.
high,
Yep.
10 feet.
So in the sentence before that, in B, it spells out not to exceed 8 and then the number 8 in parentheses. In
You
that-
have to, 8 months.
Right, in that next sentence, do we just go, they must be twin single, parentheses, unstacked, parentheses, rows? Twin single, unstacked, just to clarify.
Sure could be.
I like that.
Yep,
Just
it
so
it
there's
takes
no-
all that question away.
Yep.
I agree.
You understand it, Austin
Yeah.
understands it to mean that future council may not.
Well, it's gonna be an arguing point for a guy that
Right.
that stacks them and gets caught.
Correct.
It didn't say I couldn't stack them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this way it does.
Well, and when you have it where it's only, however, it's twins, the most you could ever stack is 1, because you can't put them
One in between,
round
yeah.
to round.
I could make the argument on this one, they must be twin single rows. Okay, that means 2 here, single on top.
Twin or single.
But the way that is typed, twin/single, that's how you stack them, twin rows on bottom, single on top. I think you need to specify.
Unstacked.
Unstacked.
Just put the word unstacked in there, yep.
I'm actually making 2 words, not stacked.
Okay, very good.
Twin single rows, comma, not stacked, comma, and at least 10 foot between each twin.
Very good.
I think we're good with that.
That clarifies it, I'm glad you brought that up.
Yep.
Good. Okay, and paragraph C,
Sightlines.
that's pretty
Simple.
simplistic, I think. I just threw it in there because I
Yep.
could see somebody
It's just
stacking
words.
some right on our corner where you're impairing that site triangle. Now, the other part that we have, of course, is in other portions of the city, I've scratched that. We really don't need it in there because we've already
Correct.
established where it can be.
Well, it already says it's unlawful to do it
Correct.
anywhere in the city limits.
Correct.
These are only exceptions that you
Correct.
spelled out here.
Does anybody have any issue with the small squares? The way I've written that up, seasonal decorations within 3 months after placement,
No,
or used to provide shelter or supplemental protection for small animals, must be removed in the spring. And then no time infested with rats or other vermin. I think we've covered the base.
you know what? Let's take out the word stacked in item G. At no time shall baled materials be permitted to become infested with rats or other varmint. You have the word stacked in there,
I
but we're
like
not
that.
letting them stack them
I
anyway.
like that, you're right. We'll scratch the word stacked. I agree. Okay. Anything else?
You did good off of a video.
I think that'll please some people and still some people will be mad.
Might go 4-2.
My only
or 5-1.
comment on this is I still think that we're writing an ordinance that benefits the city property and not the residents of the city property. We have two different rules for people in city limits.
Based on zones?
What's that?
Based on zones.
Based on zoning, yeah. Yeah.
Hayland.
Yeah,
I see that
hayland,
comparison.
ag industrial versus residential.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've addressed,
That's why we have zones.
we do.
Yep.
Yeah.
Control the neighbors. Makes good neighbors zoning.
For the record, are both of you thumbs up for
Yeah.
bringing it to council?
Yes.
Thank you. All right, next we have our new ordinance talking about the number of members in the quorum within the planning commission. This, as you know, has been an issue recently because the planning commission has been operating with 5 members and 2 members short. And without doing something like this, which by the way adopts what is already the law in the state for city ordinances, for city council, we adopt the same thing as an ordinance for our planning commission, so that the quorum is defined by how many members are lawfully in place for there. So right now we've got 5, our quorum will be 3 instead of 4, so. You guys have any questions on that? Everybody okay with it?
Yep.
Okay. All roads. I didn't know, Troy sounds like he couldn't be here, he thought maybe Kelly would if there was any questions about it. The one thing I was told, and it was a very good comment, is that we need to specify in here that this doesn't apply to trucks that are running less than 55,000 pounds.
And that's in here right
So
on.
now I've added that in paragraph A.
Okay. I have a bit of an issue with the contractor that is removing a roof from a person's house. And I'm less than 55,000 pounds, of course. So does that exclude them?
Correct.
It
They're
does.
not gonna be subject.
Because what I read before was that you could make 5 loads without designating a haul road. That's been scratched, if I understand that correctly.
I think the way our ordinances read, at any time the public safety commissioner or public works director or street superintendent, and it's not in this ordinance, it's in a different, if they suspect a truck to be over 55,000 pounds, they can have them scaled.
We did that in the garbage
Well,
Yeah.
ordinance,
you can't
but I didn't know
under
that was in general.
We can't
So-
under our general ordinance.
Okay.
So in this case, if they're under 55,000 pounds, the guy doing shingles, he's not gonna be 55,000. He doesn't,
I'm agreeing,
yeah,
but I didn't realize that the 55 was gonna be the trigger.
It is the trigger.
Well, the only thing I don't wanna have happen is a guy like me that's got a little dump truck
Right.
Yeah.
have to make 3 trips to the dump because my truck isn't big enough. That's because I can't haul 55,000. Okay.
This is really a,
If you're under 55,000, this entire ordinance does not apply.
Okay,
Yeah.
very, okay,
You can go anywhere in the city of Winter under 55,000,
That is
the way I
correct.
understand it.
Correct.
O-
Yeah.
okay,
Yep.
all right, very good.
Well stated, yeah. You don't have to stay on the truck or
Yep.
go anywhere.
Which is actually an empty semi truck and trailer could go drive around.
Anywhere at once.
Well, yeah, they
Yeah.
weigh 30, 35,000 pounds.
Yeah.
But as soon as you dump something in the trailer, you're over.
But you know, look at East 7th Street, east of the highway, since we opened that to truck traffic. I mean, it is absolutely ruined. Granted, it's a blotter, okay, it's not a real street, but we are going to have to do something to improve that particular section, what's in the city limits.
Troy would have you look at First Street. And-
Well-
And we need to replace First Street after the conclusion of
Well,
this.
don't disagree, but that's part of the construction project, is it not?
It is, it was
Okay,
our haul
but-
route.
Yeah, call it, yeah, whatever it's called, but that should be, that'll be partly financed with state funds as well, will it not?
Partly, the problem with that is that what they pay for is what has occurred during the construction project.
Correct.
So they did an initial
They did an assessment
inspection
prior,
of it prior to.
and they'll do an assessment
They
at the
cambered
end.
it and made notes and all that good stuff.
Yep, so the asphalt on First Street, we're gonna get compensated for.
We should on the asphalt.
Well, it was only a couple blocks of First Street, wasn't it?
Correct.
It wasn't the
Yeah.
whole thing.
Most of it.
What's asphalted? Is the concrete a problem?
Yeah, the whole
Oh,
First
yeah,
Street's
it's
coming
broken up
apart,
in a lot of places.
The newer concrete in?
even on the
It
west
was
end.
broke long before it.
Yeah.
Well, that was,
With all the traffic we've put down there these last 3
Last
years,
3 years, yeah.
yeah,
we'll have to address it.
good,
Just like your example's a good one, First Street's a good one.
yeah.
We have some places that just got more than usual heavy traffic.
Yep.
Yep.
Unfortunately, it looks to me like they're gonna get done with the highway this year.
Most of it.
Maybe they won't have the sidewalks all done, but it
Right.
looks to me like the highway will be
Yeah.
poured
Yeah.
this calendar year.
Sure looks that way.
So,
Yeah.
yep. I have to be careful when I walk in my sleep.
Section B addresses contractors specifically hauling rock, cement, debris, construction projects, just working with the public works director or street superintendent to set up a haul route.
And is there pretty much, as long as you go through these steps, is there anything saying that no matter where you live, if you go to somebody, you're gonna be allowed a haul route? I mean, like, there's no certain house that says, well, you're never gonna be able to haul a load of gravel in
No,
for your driveway.
That's true. I mean, if you have a project,
You will be allowed.
you will be allowed to haul,
Yeah.
but it's gonna be under the provisions of this, so that if you're running a 70,000-pound truck for your thing, and you take 50 loads, there's gonna be that inspection before and after, and
Yeah.
if there's some damage to the streets during that 50 loads that are hauling, you as the contractor are gonna be responsible for that cost.
Yep, yep. I just wanted to make
You're
sure there
still gonna
was
be able to haul.
no gray area where a certain neighborhood or something was not going to be granted a haul route.
No, because you gotta be able to service wherever the project is gonna take place.
Do we define that a haul route is for continuous rather than once in a while?
It can be,
Those
yes.
aren't the right
Yes.
words.
Yeah.
But maybe that's what you're talking about. If I want a load of gravel at my house, I shouldn't have to designate a haul route for a load of gravel.
Well, if you
Well,
can get.
if you're over the weight limit, you do.
Yeah, if you're over
tell your trucker,
55,000, you do.
if you tell your truck to stay under 55,000, you don't need to
But-
call
but-
anybody.
One example, and this is a made-up example, because I have no idea what they run.
Yeah.
But let's assume that the truck that brings food supplies to the school and to the hospital is 70,000 pounds.
Yep,
They can come and get an ongoing haul route,
to drive that route the whole time, yep.
and as
Every
long
time.
as they get that permit, so that the public works director can keep an eye on what's going on. Part of that is not only making them pay for damage that they caused, but part of it is really watching to see if we need to redefine their whole haul route because we didn't realize this was happening here, but over here it'll be better. So that he could tweak that and change that when they're non-going. That's all in there. It's subject to an ongoing, if they need one, they get the permit.
Okay. But the key is 55,000.
It is.
So I won't put 54,000 on my truck, just like when I talked to the cement people and to the propane people, they both, and fuel oil people, they both told me, we'll adjust.
Yeah.
So, and if they wanna
You got
try to
tandems on
beat
your-
the system, pardon me?
You have tandems on your truck? Tandem axle?
2-axle or one?
In the rear?
On mine? No.
Yeah. Oh, you'll never make 55,000 then?
Oh, no, I can't, it wouldn't go if I put 55,000 pounds on
About,
that.
about 31 or so
Yeah.
is gonna be your max.
Yeah. Yeah, but that is the key to this, and I didn't realize that. I just didn't wanna have a contractor have to get a haul route
Yeah.
because he
Most
was
of the
hauling, because it just says debris, and now the real key is the weight of the debris.
Typically, I would think that your gravel guys are gonna be the main ones that'll be subject to this on a regular basis for construction jobs, just because of the size of the trucks and trailers they haul it. Your typical contractor who's in the building trade, most of their outfits are never gonna get 55,000.
Yeah, but when you're digging that basement out,
When you're
okay,
digging it out.
yep, and if you're gonna haul that dirt away,
Yep,
for whatever reason, then you may be subject to this
yep,
if you go over 55.
yep,
And that's the key, okay.
yep.
To council, to full council.
Yeah, as long as you think it's okay of having just public works director, should it maybe say or his designee?
He does.
Where?
At least I intended it to.
Not in item B,
Did I
not
miss
in
that?
item C.
Did I miss that? I thought I-
Okay,
Just in case
in item C2, oh no, all that says is only the public works director may designate a different road.
I just think if he was absent or fired,
Yep.
and we don't have a replacement or
Yeah,
something.
now you can't haul because we don't have a
any-
public, I think or designee needs to be in all of those.
I can include them where it needs to be. It's a good point. I
Just-
thought I had it in here, obviously I missed it.
Just in case he was gone or something.
We'll get that included.
Which could be the street superintendent, the city engineer,
Yep.
Designee, yeah. Oh, look in item J.
Thank you. I think we
Okay,
covered it, didn't we?
item J, you might have just taken care of it.
Thank you, because I thought I had
Yep.
put that in here. I just
It
didn't.
says the public works director may designate a city engineer or any other qualified city employee to fulfill any of the public works director's duties set forth in this section.
I think we covered it.
So we're good,
Yeah, thank
I
you.
think.
Yeah, that's what I had intended to be in there, and then I wasn't seeing where I had written it, so.
You did put it in there after crossing off something totally unrelated.
Right, yep.
Okay,
Okay, both of you good going to council?
Yeah.
Now, I have included behind there the two-page document, which is the hall plan requirements, which frankly become the permit.
9409, yeah, okay.
Troy and I have not gone through it, but I would suggest that I'm not even worried about you guys approving it per se. I mainly wanted you aware of it. I think if it needs to be tweaked between Troy and I and Kelly, we can get it figured out, and Chandler, for purposes of billing.
Yeah, we wouldn't have anything to do with the
We really don't.
design of that, would
I
we?
just wanted you to be aware of
Yeah.
it. Okay, resolution 2023-17. This starts out being one that you already adopted as contained in the first, let me look here, it's like. What I was told was, and this is, I've got it highlighted in yellow, was that there was some concern about some wanted to be able to have council designate a non-employee.
And this goes back to when I was remodeling Leahy Bowl. Okay, the city gave me permission to operate city equipment. Okay, I was working on city property, doing city work. The city didn't have employees to do it. And it was all volunteer. And they voted, and it was confirmed by the insurance people, that was the key thing.
Yeah,
How can you insure, okay? All they insured was liability, okay? And I don't think it was of me, of the volunteer. I'm not sure, but now that we don't have that insurance agent anymore, so
yeah, I would really want to have a.
there's a way that it could be done as long as the city council voted to do it.
I would want to have a conversation with our insurance folks.
Our new people, yeah,
Have that conversation.
yeah, just to make sure.
I did not understand, Brad, that you were talking about strictly working on a city project or a city-owned thing where the work was being done by
Yeah.
a volunteer. Or even if the city hired a contractor.
Let's, to try and keep this balanced, this conversation.
Yeah.
The example I would bring up is when we were working with Rosebud Rod and Arrow Gun Club, and they were redoing our facility, which was the gun range.
Yep.
They had permission to do a lot of that work. We gave them permission, we provided materials. If you go down and look, they installed a fence with our cooperation. It ended up being a very good project. And I think at some point they may have actually used city equipment. How do we authorize them to use city equipment on a project that's jointly owned to get this done where it doesn't affect insurance?
You do exactly what you just said. We gave them permission. We being a vote of 6.
I think we did it with a vote of 2 in committee, which I think is improper.
Which probably should not have been that way.
It should have been the
It has
full
to, the
vote.
6 people have to have a say in it,
They do.
not just 2.
Where
I
I hear you
agree.
talking about working on a city-owned property, I'm feeling a lot better about it than initially. My impression was that we were gonna talk about somebody doing whatever and making arrangements for a quote rental of one of our pieces of equipment to go off and run it without us being there.
Because what if I want to rent your bucket truck?
Yeah,
Or what if I want to rent your boring machine?
you're right.
Yeah.
Okay?
Right.
That's where the city has, and that's a city to a private individual.
And
Okay. And that's where I'm concerned about, if there's a volunteer that wants to do work somewhere on a park, or build a gazebo,
They're
or,
building on city property.
yep,
I would pull back my objection to it as long as it's approved by full council.
correct. Correct, and that was the deal, even when we found out that the pump went bad, okay? And the city said, order a new pump, I said, and I was at a city council meeting telling them what was wrong with their sprinkler system at the baseball field. They said, well, order one. No, I don't even work for the city. No, we're telling you, order one, so they voted to give me the authority to order one, and then the mayor canceled it.
Yeah.
So, that's how that went, but the city,
I will call our insurance.
find out what the deal is
just to
on the
double check
insurance.
my,
I don't remember all the details,
What
but it
I'm-
was something about wouldn't cover
what I'm
me.
believing is that they will say is where it's a permissive use and subject to being under quote city supervision or control. Even though you may be off doing it yourself.
Yeah, because we don't wanna pay a city employee to watch me
Right.
put new agri-lime on the baseball field.
But under those circumstances, usually they will say, no problem, we will cover you from the standpoint of liability.
And I understood that to be,
That will
if
cover
if
you
I
as well.
hit somebody with that machine, it would
Correct.
cover their
It will
stuff.
cover the liability question against the city of Winter.
Right,
It will not
did not cover me,
the
and I understood that
individual
completely,
who is
yep,
not an employee.
yep. But
That's typical.
When we
but I will
switched
call
insurance
this-
companies.
check with our new people, yeah, we've switched
That's-
insurance companies.
That's why we were able to open up the courtesy car at the airport, because our old insurance company wouldn't cover any random driver.
Oh,
And the new one said, yep, as long as they were granted permission by the
Permissive,
department head,
yeah.
they're covered.
We give the Winter Baseball Association use of our equipment in tournaments to prep the fields between games in a tournament.
Yep,
True, true.
So I think we have some examples here. We just gotta make
We
it
do.
fit
So-
with our insurance company.
but it's,
and
and that permission is given by the council rather than the
Committee.
committee.
I,
It should be by the council. I
it should be, I agree, it's gotta
So
be a
if we've
full
been doing it
act.
wrong, so what? Let's fix it.
Let's fix
Yeah.
it.
Make sure we do it right going forward.
So let's assume that this language in yellow stays in there, and assume that our insurance company agrees with what I've put forward to you. Can we go ahead and take this to council for approval?
Yep, what, I don't understand, unless approved by, I don't understand what the further was. Oh, okay, that
This is
goes
a
on,
resolution.
goes on to the next section, I got it,
Be further
yep.
resolved, yeah.
Yep, got it, okay. Yep, I'm ready for that to go to council.
Okay. I think everything else was
We were all good on the rates
all good
before.
on the race, okay. And then, the other resolution, we met a couple of weeks ago with Adam from River Bottom Sanitation to work on the issue about special events, whether it's summer nights, the carnival, whatever, and figure out how to charge for that, how to bill for it. There's looking at it from the standpoint of not only obviously what work is done by River Bottom as far as emptying the garbage and handling it, but also the extra funds that need to come to the city to cover the additional garbage that's gonna be going through our transfer station and up, that we're gonna be paying tipping fees for in Pacuana. And so we sat down and worked through all of these. I will tell you the first 2 pages, I'm sorry, the first page and a half are exactly what we've already had. So let's start on the second page, halfway down, we start talking about weekend or special events. Per event, not per container, but if somebody needs X number of containers, whatever number they and Troy agreed to, we'll put them out for a delivery and handling fee of $50. If that work is done by Adam will keep the $50. If the work is done by the city, putting them out and bringing them in, the city will keep the $50. Adam will take care, obviously, of dumping the trash, and you'll see a breakdown of these things when we get into the last page, which is the addendum to our contract with them, which specifies how this breaks down. So, for instance, when he dumps the 300-gallon totes, he gets paid $17. I'm sorry, the customer pays $17. Adam's portion is 8 1/4, and the city keeps the rest. We also talked about home cleanouts, business cleanouts, whatever, where somebody takes a dumpster in front of their place and starts cleaning the place out, throwing everything away.
No, okay, now I'm looking at both of these at the same time, this
Yeah.
page and this page.
Yes,
We don't say that, what you told us earlier
what's that?
on who gets the $50.
That's in the separate contract at the addendum. So take a.
But on this one, it says, the
What?
delivery fee, we're gonna keep it if we deliver it,
Mhm.
and he's gonna keep it if he delivers it. But on the
addendum's the
On
last.
the addendum, it says he gets to have the $50 delivery fee.
If he delivers it.
Is that, I don't know where it says that.
Well, for instance, on the
On the weekend or one-day events,
weekend or one-day event,
$50 delivery fee, pickup fee for per event, not container.
correct.
And that doesn't say winner gets it if they deliver it.
Now, you look down on the 300-gallon, because that's the ones that the city's gonna be delivering.
On this, okay,
The 2, 4, and 6-yard dumpsters, Adam's gonna be delivering.
That wasn't specified.
His truck
Yeah.
is the one that puts them out. And so that's why, when you see 2, 4, and 6-yard dumpsters, River Bottom's portion starts out with the $50, plus a split of the dumping fee.
okay. So the tote itself isn't, he doesn't get any of that money at all, even
Yeah.
if he delivers a tote?
The 300-gallon tote, city delivers, city keeps the $50 delivery fee, but he gets $17 for dumping those. I'm sorry, the customer pays $17.
And he gets 8 1/4.
He gets
Yep.
8 1/4 of
Okay.
that $17.
Okay.
And one of the things that we looked at as far as the fee that comes back to the city was based upon an analysis of how much material we might be having, how many yards of garbage are coming through.
Okay,
So that we are always covering at least, I believe we figured our cost should be at $7 a yard, that we get paid for every yard that we're running through. And so that's figured in there. I'm not the money man, I'm not the numbers guy, so if there's questions about how it was figured, I'll probably not be able to answer it. I can just tell you that these are the numbers that everybody landed on. Troy was involved in it. Jody, I think you were involved in it.
No, I was unable to
That's
attend.
right, you weren't able to attend. Troy was there, Shander was there, and I was there, and Adam was there.
So, has River Bottom, were they or have they been asked? I mean, I know this is what came up for rates, but evidently it wasn't willing to do the carnival pickups like in the past where there was, where the old garbage service just did it. He wants paid for special events.
Correct.
He does.
He does, yeah, yeah.
doesn't our contract address that? The city
Allows it
events
to.
he has to pick up for nothing?
It lets him, but he does have the option to say, I'm doing your whole town's business, I'd be glad to pick up the carnival's
Yeah,
garbage.
too,
When he bid this out, the bid was for so many residential accounts and so many commercial accounts.
Okay?
Our bid letting did not include special events.
We did not like we had before?
Correct.
There was nothing even previously on special events that was just handled.
Was never
No,
part
I'm
of the
not, I'm not
contract.
necessarily talking about special events, I'm talking about when the city says, go dump Leahy Bowl, we don't pay for that.
We don't. The
When
contract
the city-
specifies that.
Yeah, the contract specifies that.
Because that's-
So this is a
that's
city
city-owned-
carnival.
City-owned dumpster, city-owned park.
But they're, like Leahy Bowl's a guaranteed, the carnival's not guaranteed every year, the 4-H rodeo's not guaranteed, the Elks rodeo's not guaranteed.
Those are all add-ons.
They're all it's,
And they were add-ons before with Heartland?
Heartland used to do
Heartland
it.
handled that themselves.
They used to
They
eat
did.
that bill.
But they also paid the tipping fees in Puckwana. Where we're paying the tipping fees, we have to be a part of this discussion now. Plus the transfer station, everything before was held in the truck and hauled to
Yep.
Puckwana.
Yep,
Now it runs through the tipping, or, I don't wanna say tipping
I
station.
understand what you're saying.
So,
But my point was, I thought that it was in the contract or agreement or whatever, that the city properties would be picked up at no charge.
The city parks, city buildings, yes.
Yep,
Yes.
okay.
But on the add-on special events, no, that was not addressed in the
Okay.
contract.
Okay,
in the past, you had chamber event, the Elks event, the rodeo.
Okay.
Those aren't city events, and
Okay.
in the past, that was all handled.
so if somebody paid Heartland extra
Sure.
to pick up on Saturday nights or Thursday nights,
Yeah.
whatever it was, the downtown events that we
Heartland
did?
handled that.
May or may not have, we don't know.
Well, we know that the city didn't pay them.
We didn't pay Heartland for it,
They did that out of courtesy. They went and picked
sometimes,
it up.
maybe.
Well,
We don't know.
didn't see a bill,
Right.
and we know they didn't bill the carnival
Well, we
because
should
it
look
was
at
in
that
there.
contract, because I'm quite certain that if the city had a function, they were required to pick
It's
it
not
up.
spelled out that way.
Huh?
It's not spelled out, so.
I thought it
so
was,
allows
okay.
the city to.
Because that's where I thought that they should be required to pick up the carnival stuff.
That is a city function. The carnival is ours.
Agreed, but
What I was addressing was, he says that under the contract,
Right,
that would be.
It doesn't.
And my point is that the contract did not address if the city added additional functions that they were gonna be having. The contract.
I don't know that it didn't say that, but it said
Contract
that.
just specifies the locations where the city operates its business, through the parks
Okay.
and at the city buildings.
Okay,
I think it would be very unfair to the contractor because we could make everything a city event and
Right.
force them to
I'm
pick
not
up.
disagreeing with you.
I like this, it's fair, Adam was part of this, I wasn't there, but he had a say in, okay,
So
if-
Adam was at these meetings that Jody just said,
yes.
Oh, yeah, he was at the meeting where we worked all this out.
worked out this stuff, yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
What I'm uncertain about, Mr. Jensen, as I look at this on page 2 at the bottom, for home facilities doing a clean out, 300 gallon, there are 2 fees there. It says $43 plus 30 for each additional. What are the,
You're getting dumped 4 times in a 30-day period for that first fee.
okay,
So the first fee is the $43.
okay,
If there are additional beyond the 4 dumps.
then the 30 is
then the
each
30 comes
additional.
in For each additional dump.
And that would be the same when we get to the addendum and are looking at that over there
Correct.
on the clean outs, okay?
Correct.
Okay. That was my one point of confusion. So River Bottom will be dumping all of the dumpsters. It looks like the city of Winter will be delivering the totes.
Correct.
If they do not, and we take the dumpster out, we would get that fee.
We would, yeah. That's not specified in there because technically speaking, they're the ones with the truck that handles the dumpsters. But if we ended up moving a dumpster, instead of them, we'll take the fee.
Should that be spelled out in language, just maybe a bullet saying if the contractor is unable, or,
We certainly can.
I think we want to spell that out where I don't want to move a dumpster and then it says, oh, according to this addendum, I'm getting that 50 even though you moved it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
that's a good
like
point.
on the dumpster side, the contractor, as long as contractor's notified and
Has
given-
that
given
option.
the option to move it, if they say we can't,
Yeah,
then the city will get it taken care of.
yeah. Otherwise, I like this. I think this is a fair schedule. The yards, it looks like we did the same thing on page 3 for loads from outside the city limits. Just like with our landfill rates, we just doubled everything. Is that doubled or tripled, it looks like?
It took the same thing that we did.
Tripled in some points.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did the same thing in our regular ordinance out at the landfill.
Yeah,
And we took that same thing and just applied it here.
gotcha. So if somebody does come from outside the city limits and wants to dump household goods out at the transfer station, we have a rate in here. If they
We have it right in here, yeah.
pickup load is 75,
To have somebody fix the word axle and get it spelled right each time.
axle.
Sometimes if it's a single axle, it's EL, if it's a double axle, it's LE. So,
You know what, Brad?
damn
I
it,
hadn't paid attention, but we have them both right next to each other.
I know,
Oh, come on.
I know, twice.
I'll tell you what,
It's been done twice, so just fix it.
I will go through this and try to make them consistent.
Okay.
LE.
Yeah, because here's what's really funny, I had a guy from, my boss, okay? She says, I can't believe how you people from Winter, she lives in Cologne.
Nobody spell checks?
No, her husband, yeah, her husband drives all the way from Cologne to Winter with a pickup load of junk to put in our machine, in our landfill. And they told him $75. He got all pissed off, turned around, and left. And then she says to me, you need to do something about that. I said, no, I don't. You need to move to Winter if you want to haul it out there for nothing. Because I said, then you'll pay $5 a month.
Yeah.
You know, but holy shit, what people think, you know, I want to live in Cologne, but I want to take up all of Winter's stuff,
Yep.
you know, golly. And I'd be mad about it.
Yeah.
Get that fixed. Anything else?
I think this is good to go.
Can we take all those to council?
I believe so.
We made it.
Yeah, with time to spare, guys.
Now, I will tell you that I was, apparently, Shander and I did not get a chance to talk late yesterday afternoon. Apparently, there was one that was coming out of yesterday's committee meeting that I don't have ready to go. And I will tell you, Brad and I were having a conversation before we started here this morning. It's one that talks about a resolution, help me out here, Jody.
It's a resolution where if we had previously billed a homeowner the minimum, and now the gateway kicks in and shows 100,000 gallons, they are no longer
Right.
they are responsible until an act of full council waives those fees for past billing on usage
Prior to this.
prior
Yeah.
to us correcting our gateway.
The way it was presented to me was that their meter stopped working or some kind of thing. And
There were two examples. If the meter was broke, it didn't record in gallons. It was just lost usage because
Yep.
the meter was broke. So we did a minimum. If we went in and the gateway was broken, meter still works. The gateway is recording usage, but we can't get that figure, so we billed the minimum. But as soon as that gateway is fixed, even if it was 2 years ago, and let's say they had, in Troy
And I
reference,
understand some of them were a long time.
Oh, yeah.
200,000 gallons,
Yeah.
and you start looking at our per gallon rate, per thousand
But it was
gallon
our
rates.
equipment that didn't work.
Correct.
Right.
And I say we have to record that amount. We have to bill that amount according to our ordinance. You as council have the authority to waive that once you look at those. And I think we have to record those amounts so we know them. And the reason I want that is because load management, you guys were having a conversation about load management prior to us going on camera. CJ and DGR have looked at our previous load management system, and in fact have found through the electrical engineers, there may have only been one incident of load management kicking on every 6 months. It wasn't working properly, so we were paying the full amount. I want the public and you as council, I think we deserve to know how many gallons were lost. You can waive those fees, and I think that's fair, but I think we have to record that so we can see what the cost of the cheapest system out there cost us over the years. And also, Brad, we were part of a council that 15 and 16 where there was 900,000 in there each year to replace that system, but we didn't do it. And our electrical supervisor didn't move forward, Public Works didn't move forward in those years when we were on council. And this is what it cost us on the back end, by putting that not in the budget and not moving forward.
Yep.
Those are taxpayer dollars that are lost and services that are lost. I'm okay with you and as citizen representatives.
How long did we know that this stuff wasn't working?
We don't know. I mean, it was
Load
ongoing.
management, we don't know.
Well, the load management on
The
that.
water, we knew right away.
Well,
Every 30 days.
And we didn't do
knows the
anything
meter's
about it.
not working.
but here's what happened. When 2018, it was maybe 5-6 accounts a month. And then it accelerated. And by 2020, it was a page. It was 30 accounts a month that we had to replace the heads. And then when we get through COVID and we started addressing this system and purchasing it, it was becoming 60, 90 accounts a month, and we couldn't replace them fast enough. We couldn't. We had to make that move. But inaction by council, and I was part of that council in 15 and 16 to address the problem, caused huge issues for us here. I believe that the city of Winter, I just threw out a number yesterday, a staked in our bet, that we lost $900,000 in revenues in water and sewer the last 2 years that could have went, you heard during our budget process, for sewer relinings, for manholes, because our system failed. That has been a priority to get these guys out there. You heard yesterday, the electrical department has replaced 600 of the meters in town. Water is now over 300, and they are starting to catch up. The problem is we gotta work them together, because when the electrical department goes out and replaces the meter and the water doesn't get there, that gateway breaks. And we lose that usage for that month, and we need to coordinate a better system between the water and electrical department in replacing these. But that wasn't the case. Some of these are 2-3 years old where the gateway is now kicking on, and we have 3 years worth of usage. And I don't think it's fair to bill everybody, but I do think the only proper way to waive those fees and break our ordinance and resolution, and it's not breaking if you do it as a vote as a full council.
And we can define it in a resolution rather than having council do a separate motion on each customer.
Right.
That defines.
We're gonna record
when-
the amounts and waive them when that gateway kicks
Amount
on.
recorded and then away.
Just as long as,
Yes,
like
the-
I said, just as long as, if council chooses to waive them, in the meantime, I was adamant that nothing got billed, even so nobody has to come in and say, why is my water bill $2,500? Somebody that is on a tight income that has automatic withdrawal,
So
as soon
operationally,
as that number is
I-
plugged in,
You know, and-
their bank account's
And
over.
that's what we're planning on, I think here, Austin, is a system that's going to, with this resolution, allow them to A, record it, but B, then apply the waiver before the bill goes out.
Yes, yeah.
I think this needs to get through a committee, whether it's finance or personnel on Monday, but we need this on the agenda Monday night.
We do, and so that's my plan, is to get it in front of personnel Monday morning.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I don't see any reason we can't do that. I think all we need is for a couple hours or for an hour for me and Chandra and Troy and you, maybe just sit down for a half hour, talk about the fine point specifics that need to be included. in
Even
that
if you have to call a special meeting, this needs to be resolved before the next billing,
Yeah, I agree.
which is like the 28th or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, we can resolve any language in the cabinet Friday morning.
Yeah.
We can.
We can have it on Monday night
So
before
we'll
that
get-
billing
we'll get
goes
it in
out.
front of council Monday night. Yep.
So I,
Because Austin is 100% right. You throw a
so the way we're talking about doing this operationally is if there are 200,000 gallons, it will read 200,000 gallons on the bill, but Brandy will waive that to zero charge on usage. We do want to show how many gallons went through.
It will still be one more month at the
Yeah.
minimum. But all that prior usage will be waived.
And we do want to show them how many thousand gallons went through, and the city is waiving that. It's got to be recorded on that bill. That way we can track and add up all those lines, and if it's 2 million gallons because of a failed operational system we purchased in 2010 that we didn't address in 2016, I want that to be recorded. I think.
That's not Jimmy Jones' fault.
No, it's not.
No.
It's ours as operational and as a council for not getting
And,
that
you know,
done.
like, I look at the meeting that we chose 2-3 years ago or whatever to go to this new water and electrical system.
Yep,
We also, the very next week at committee, told them to quit putting gateways on, quit buying them.
quit buying them. Because we
now
thought it
we're
was gonna be
buying two
quicker.
systems, and one of them we know we're gonna throw in the garbage.
Yeah,
And so, and I still believe that was the
proper decision.
proper decision. But if we were gonna come back and bill, that should have been made a notice to the public then, say, you know, we're not gonna be able to read your meter for 6 months. But none of that was discussed. It was just quit buying them, we're gonna eat the water, and when the new system gets here,
Yeah,
we're just gonna move forward and quit looking back at the junk we had.
I am satisfied the more I'm hearing and seeing, and I hope you as council are, that Landis and Gear and Census were the proper directions for us to go long-term. I really am.
I think so.
Biting your tongue? I saw that.
Well, and you never know.
You don't.
There could be flaws, just like the system they bought in 2010. The mayor in 2010 probably said the same thing. This is what we need to do.
Yeah.
But then you find a flaw and you think, well, I wish I wouldn't have bought that pickup. Wish I wouldn't have done this. But you don't know.
Go ask
It-
Miller.
You know,
All the
it's,
decisions they made with what they've done up there, they're crying in their soup now.
you know, other than the billing system, the way we have to do power and water together, I know like rural water did this same read system back in 2002, and they're still using it today.
Yeah,
You know, I mean, so that's
Must have got
a good sign.
you got a good system.
You know, I mean,
Gosh, we
we're
used to
working.
hire one guy to walk around the city once a month.
two.
Well, two guys,
Yeah.
fine. Okay, $120,000 and we got all our data. We got all our billings that we needed to have.
Back then, it was for 60,000.
But if there was two guys, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
just
they
thought.
were getting about 30.
Now, let me ask
those
you,
two
how
guys
much-
would tell you it was
how much are we
40,000
spending on
total.
Landis and gear? Way more than $120,000. On the
But
new, specially designed, time-saving,
It'll last for 10
labor-saving,
years.
money-saving
Brad.
stuff.
the people that were in the finance department back then will tell you that the readings that came in weren't always accurate
I
because
don't
of the
disagree with that.
scribbling and
But it got caught
There was a
up
lot
the
of
very
human
next
error.
month. Oh, I only used 40 gallons this month. Oh, gosh, I used 200 gallons
Right.
this month. Yeah, dummy, because we read them wrong.
Yep.
Yep, I understand. But I don't know that charging somebody for 200,000 gallons worth of water is the right thing to do. Because our system didn't work.
Well, and then it's not fair if the meter, because some of these customers are gonna get a reading and some aren't.
Yep.
So, oh, well, since this 50% got a reading, we're gonna bill you, these 50, you lucked out. Well,
Yeah.
that's been your burr under your saddle for a long time. You were instrumental in
well,
this
I wanted it,
push.
yeah, I mean, I wanted it fixed 3 years ago, but now now it is getting fixed and I just don't think it's fair.
The beautiful thing is they're working rapidly.
Yeah.
They will be through this by this spring.
Yep. I think May 1 or June 1, when people start using water, I think the system's gonna be in.
Yeah.
It'll be all fixed by then, huh?
And then they'll spend the summer, I mean, there'll be glitches or this needs repositioned outside the house and work through that stuff. But at least, I don't think they're gonna have to make appointments to get back in the houses and stuff like that.
And man,
We're on overtime, gentlemen.
well, let's go ahead and
Good
cut
meeting.
and kill. It was.
Appreciate all your input.
Brad,
Helps a lot.
One other thing I mentioned yesterday is, so if you go back on an account, the meter was off for the last 2 years. What if that person moved away
Yeah,
and it's a new renter?
and it's a what?
New renter.
Oh, okay.
So you.
And then we charge them. I agree.
You know.
We can't, yeah, our smartest move is to